The fall of Master Xehanort in Kingdom Hearts 3 may have way more layers than we at first realized. What at first to most may have seemed like a simple chapter close to the Dark Seeker saga may have just been a part of a greater purpose Xehanort knew he had to serve. Master Xehanort at the end of Kingdom Hearts 3 was defeated. Despite barely being able to stand, he was still down to continue the fight with Sora, Dawn, and Goofy, before the rest of the Guardians appeared at least. This would lead to a reveal of Master Ericus, who was still residing inside Terra's heart, convincing a wounded friend to concede, and so he did. Xehanort told us that he wanted to recreate the world using the light of Kingdom Hearts, making himself the leader of this empty world, one pure and bright, someone to dictate the weak. Xehanort's defeat is very interesting. Knowing that Xehanort had knowledge of the Lost Masters, the Book of Prophecies, the Keyblade, all of these things, do you believe it'd be possible that Xehanort knew about the events taking place in Union Cross perhaps? I mean, in the secret reports to Kingdom Hearts 3, I must mention, he does talk about exploring the age of fairy tales. Perhaps he knows more than he lets on, and knows of a greater evil, a greater darkness. I don't think Xehanort purposely lost the final fight in Kingdom Hearts 3. I believe he tried his best to defeat Sora and the Guardians, but had a backup plan, a thought of what if he lost. What then? Well, Xehanort may be clouded in darkness, but he's shown that in more than a couple circumstances, he's no fool. He's likely one of the more knowledgeable characters in the Kingdom Hearts universe, perhaps the most knowledgeable. Xehanort, somewhere along the lines, during the final battle, I believe, had a sliver of hope for the light, but he needed a reason to have faith in his opponents to continue what he set out to truly do. Defeat darkness. Defeat it. Xehanort's ultimate goal in Kingdom Hearts 3 was to defeat the darkness with the light of Kingdom Hearts, creating a blank canvas for the world's recreation. But why? What happened in his youth to make him go down such a path? It's more than just an interaction between the master and himself. Perhaps at some point he came into contact with this being we see in Union Cross fighting the Union leaders. I mean, this being was influential enough to make Ventus think he was a legit Union leader, killing Strelitzia, although he wasn't really the one who killed her. The one who did it was, well, it. A being like this could easily cause chaos no matter what timeline it's in, and based on the history of Kingdom Hearts that we know so far, the universe has been shrouded in darkness for quite some time. The worlds are hurting in Dark Road, in Birth by Sleep, and in Kingdom Hearts 1 through 3. The presence of this being must still be around, watching us as always, and causing chaos, just like it did even when the master himself was a boy, as we learned in Union Cross. But perhaps Xehanort at a certain point noticed this being, or came into direct contact with it, became aware of it. Perhaps this contact with this being led to Xehanort showing his fear. Perhaps this being is what kills a lot of his closest friends, as we see a flash forward of in episode 1 of Dark Road. Perhaps this fear, sadness, turned to anger, leading Xehanort more motivated than ever to defeat the darkness, to defeat it. But not with light, but with its own power. Maybe if Xehanort can become strong enough with the darkness, he can control the darkness. Maybe he can control it. Maybe if he were to reset the world and purge everything, maybe he could purge it too. Xehanort was willing to sacrifice the current world to defeat this being. That is just a possibility though. Further expanding upon this, during this time frame, maybe Master Xehanort starts to have doubts about his own abilities. Is he really capable of this? What are the flaws of his plan? Under what circumstances could light truly win? As he got older, he started thinking about this more and more, while also simultaneously pushing his own plans forward. This would be around the time Xehanort discovers the other side, a world neither of light nor darkness, a world that contradicts everything they once knew. Did the Lost Masters travel to this world? Could this be where their hope lies? The secret of this world must be worth discovering. If they could figure out the secret of this world, perhaps darkness can be defeated. But he can't do this alone. time is not on his side. He has no one to turn to, but his enemies. Well, maybe this is when Kairi comes in. A Princess of Heart, a Keyblade wielder, find each other. A Princess of Heart has the power to bring out the purest of light, maybe even out of other people. Xehanort knew that if he were to bring these two together and ultimately shatter the princess right in front of his eyes, then he would make a reckless attempt at saving her, sacrificing himself in the process, leading him to that world. There's a crucial part of this puzzle missing, however, and that is why. I talked earlier on about the reason being hope, but for someone like Xehanort, there has to be more to it than that, more than just hope. He has to know something about this world that he wants Sora to find out, and others to find out. The reason he chose Sora specifically is because he was the right person for the job. I believe that Subject X had a huge part to play in this as well. I think Subject X potentially made him realize that there's a bigger plan in the works, one that he isn't entirely aware of, one that he might have to stop, one that he's scared of. The past holds the key to their future. I believe a lot of these thoughts, while admittedly a little out there, do show some signs of a bigger plan by Xehanort, a key part of this plan being Quadratum. This is supported by a ton of weird instances in Kingdom Hearts 3 that lead directly to Sora in Verum Rex, which only happens after Xehanort's demise. Young Xehanort constantly, in more than one instance throughout the game, hints at Sora's fate. Xehanort in Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind literally interacted with a future version of Sora trying to save Kairi before he disappears, yet doesn't really stop him. Xigbar telling Sora in a more subtle way that he has no choice but to follow this sweet little trail of breadcrumbs. All the bigger members of the organization seem to be aware of Sora's fate at the end of the game, though the question is, do they know about all of it? Does the Book of Prophecies detail events outside of our world? I personally doubt it, but who knows? Even in Melody of Memory, the fact that Xehanort is even talking about hope to a kid Kairi is more than bizarre, because at this point in the plot, he should know well by now who his enemies are. Xehanort clearly has a lot more going on, plans that he set in motion for even well after his demise. What he left behind might be the key to our future. We talk about saving Sora, but what does Sora even need saving from? Yozora, the Master of Masters? Sora has a huge role to play as well. I doubt he's going to just be sitting back and relaxing while Riku chases after him along with the other Guardians. There's something for Sora to discover here, and Xehanort might know what it is, and he may be the key in leading him into the right direction. But that's enough of me spitballing speculation talk. I'm sure a lot of things I said sound absolutely crazy, but just think about it. Xehanort plans for every eventuality, so why not one where he loses? If you enjoyed, you already know what to do. Leave a like, share the video with a friend or family member, and last but not least, if you have not already, and want to become a part of the union, all you have to do is hit that red little subscribe button down below. My name is Prodigy, and I will talk to you guys soon. Peace out, you guys. Bye.